Hey guys, it's Aviation, welcome back to the channel, and today we're taking a look at the SC Designs Fighting Falcon. Now, this is, of course, technically DC Designs, FC Designs, SC. I'm not sure. I think it's because it's a group project rather than an individual one. But either way, from the same stable as DC Designs, the F-15 and the F-14 Tomcats, of course. Now, as you see with the aircraft itself, this is one of the C models. It has the external tanks on there as well. But the General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon is a single-engine multi-role fighter, originally developed for the Air Force in the US as an air superiority day fighter, and it evolved into a very successful all-weather multi-role aircraft. Over 4,600 have been built. Now, this thing is an incredibly potent aircraft, and it's been used by the US, Israel, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, and other operators, including the Netherlands, I believe, as well. Now, the aircraft itself, specifications-wise, for the C model Block 50 and 52, is, of course, a Pratt & Whitney F100, which is the PW229 afterburning turbofan, and it has a max speed of Mach 2, which is 1,145 knots. We'll see if we can actually do that today. And a combat range of 295 nautical miles, ferry range of 2,200, so that's quite a difference. As you see here, we have three versions, the C, the D, and the I being Israeli, and we have liveries for all those aircraft. So let's take a look at this today, shall we? As it is very quiet in this world. I wonder if... You know what? I know why this is doing this. Love it. I can't hear anything right now because I didn't start my actual soundboard. Always a great start to a review. As, there we go, we have sound now, so you can hear it too. Now, one thing I've noticed with DC Designs in the past has been the hood brightness, which has always been a downside, shall we say. It wasn't as bright as it could be. Now, I'm not sure where they've hidden the actual brightness for this one, but there is a brightness switch. It's not too bad looking at it right now. Now, of course, as usual, we have the wonderful Canopy, which is nice to know. And we do have, of course, covers, chocks, and ladders here. Let's take a look at the outside of the aircraft, shall we? Now, none of those things are turned on. Let's pop those on for the moment. As I believe maybe the parking brake has to be set. They don't want to turn on, do they? Surely if I looked around here that would... No, that's the controls. Don't want to press that. Let's check if our parking brake is set. I'll be turning my head tracker on in a second so you can actually hear me and see what we're doing here, but I believe my parking brake will be set on this panel right here. That's our tail hook, that is landing gear. There's our canopy under there. Stores jettison. Parking brake's meant to be on there somewhere. Well, that would apparently be it. Okay, parking brake is set. Turn off all our power. And everything appears. Fantastic. That's a me issue rather than anything else. So, of course, we have the engine covers with the F-16 logo on it. That's kind of nice. We have ladders, we have chocks, we have all the usual lovely features that you'd want in an aircraft. I think they're nice. I think they're important to me, at least. Now, let's take a look at our... We'll just go external for a second. I want to see what changes with this. For some reason, the view always goes to a weird direction with Flight Sim since Update 7, where it's not quite centered on the aircraft. Or that might be due to where they actually set the reference location. So let's go to our stores here. Now, payload. Set that there. Okay, we can set missiles on there, and it gives us the exact weight we need to put for these. So we'll put some AGMs on there as well. Those are 375 pounds. Okay. So that gives us some missiles on our racks, which is nice to have. Now obviously they're non-functional, and the version that will be on the marketplace will have them, because Asobo and Microsoft don't want to have weapons in the sim, but external developers will do that. So right now our weight is pretty reasonably low. We should be fine for takeoff and landing in both its configuration. This is a very sensitive aircraft to its weights, by the way, so we'll take into account that. Now, I have no idea how to start this. It's probably quite easy. Let's give it a crack, shall we, and see if it is as easy as I think it is. Now, fuel cutoff should be in the aft position, I believe. Let's close the canopy first. Lights are here, unless fuel cutoff is on this back panel. Here are our light systems. Autopilot controls are in this area here. And you can also control autopilot from the DED screen up here, which currently has radio navigation set on it, of course. And I believe there's a way to control the options on that one. Nope, that's not allowing me to do that. But right now it's set to radio navigation mode. There are other pages as well. There we go. So we can change it with these. Data indexes, initiate, direct to, radio nav, all controlled by those top buttons there. Which is useful, nice and simple. Now, I like this aircraft because it's a combination of analog and digital. Now, we can turn off the actual flight stick there with one of the buttons around. I believe it's on this side here, hidden somewhere, but we'll leave it on. It's meant to be there. Okay, let's see if I can start the aircraft. Which will be a big plus for me because I'm not exactly a fighter jet nerd. Where was engine start? It's on here somewhere. Right there. Should be relatively simple. Okay. Engine does appear to be doing something. That's a good start. Probably should put fuel in later like a turboprop, but yeah, this flight sim will probably still work somehow. I wonder if I... No. Pressing the ejection seat doesn't do anything. Oh. Seat is armed. Okay, cool. We've done that at least. Engine's coming online and fuel and oil pressure are going on. So let's flip on the head tracking so we can actually look around here. Which will make flying a fighter jet to down sight easier. We're at Edwards Air Force Base in case anyone was curious, actually, as to what was going on. There we go. That's set up nicely for me. Engine's coming online. And you can already tell this is not as bright as it could be. Can we make this brighter is the question. Now there's a bit of a downside with flight sim how this works, but I've noticed DC Design's aircraft all struggle with their brightness on the actual hood. I've seen other aircraft that manage it just fine, so it is possible. I don't know what they're doing differently, but in this case, they don't tend to do great with it. So, without further ado, let's get ourselves rolling here. Okay, so get rid of the flaps, or mixture lever I've got set there. Flaps set for takeoff. Let's get ourselves turned around. And head out to the runway here at Edwards, and take off for a blast. Now, this aircraft always gives me Iron Eagle vibes. This is one of my favourite fighter jets of the current era, shall we say. Also, totally recommend it. Keep under 20 knots with this aircraft. When you are taxiing, obviously instability from stores on the wings and not particularly wide gear footprint. So we're going to stay under 20 knots for that purpose, as we are a little bit quick right now, but we're doing okay. Now, this is £25 from Just Flight directly. You can wait for it on the marketplace, but it won't have weapons functionality, of course, or even visibility. So that's a downside. But we will find out, of course, how this thing actually behaves. Now, we do need to make sure we do a 4G brake at about 150 knots, then slow to 150 knots for our approach. You want to keep the speed up with the F-16 landing because they are quite sensitive to pitch and to engine power. Now watch me having gotten very lost and not have a clue where the runway is here. This looks like runway markers out here, so I think we're in the right direction. Edwards is a very big airbase, so what looked small on the map is quite large, it turns out. Okay, looking good. Sim performance is actually totally fine from what I'm seeing right now. No real issues I've noticed. Yeah, those are runway entry markers over there. So we should be getting ready to go with this. There is something very, very nice about being in the cockpit of an F-16. One of the most visible fighters there is. And I do like how that glass is actually glass. It's a 3D item. Okay, here we are. Head towards the active runway now. And we'll get ourselves going. Oh, we could have stayed on the centre line of the taxiway. No big deal. Should be left out of here and we'll have, I believe it's going to be 2-3. Everything looking good. Nothing in the air. Okay. I'm taxiing very slowly. I'm a little bit nervous about how this thing's going to behave, so you'll have to bear with me in that regard. Okay. On heading. I think we're on 03 rather than full burner. Let's go. Humming Iron Eagle soundtracks in the back of my mind. Gear up. Flaps up. And boom. Okay, speed is dropping slightly with this level of boom climb, and we're already at 5,000 feet, so let's level the nose off here. Kill the burner. Oh, hi, Edwards Air Force Base. It's now right below us. Yeah, that's what I call a climb. Yeah, it'll climb. It will do that indeed. Now, flying this aircraft definitely makes me want to watch Iron Eagle. One of my favourite childhood aviation movies, of course. Spoilers out. I'm going to drop the nose down here and get as close to the deck as possible. Of course, Edwards is unfortunately on a salt flat, so it's miles away from any actual surface I could really do some mounted flying with, but we'll make do. Pull those spoilers in. What speed can I actually get this thing to actually do for us? Passing 300. Pulling a lot of G's in the turn here. Accelerating on full burner. Let's see what she'll do. Hood's actually surprisingly visible for them. I'm actually impressed with it is being more visible. 500. 550, 560, 580, 600. Are we still accelerating? We're looking for a max speed of 1100. We're still going up. Coming up towards 700. Oh, it looks like those mountains are getting a lot closer, a lot faster. Passing 700 knots. Okay. This baby's shifting. I do like the actual heads-up display information as well, and the MFDs as well. Passing through 740. Okay, so this goes a lot faster than what I've seen a lot of stock aircraft do. We're going to cull it there because I'm not at high enough altitude to really gain anything from that. So, burner's off. Going to roll her around. Oh, the pilot's huffing as we pull G. Nice. That's cool. I like that. Let's level off here. Edwards is just below us in the distance there. So we're going to hit the airfield, we're going to do a brake, and we're going to come into land on our runway we took off on. So let's drop our altitude a bit here. I do like the G-huffing, actually. Visually, the aircraft is very nice, and this is definitely one that benefits from head tracking. Being a fighter jet, visibility is a huge thing, and this is great. I really enjoy this aircraft. This is fantastic. In terms of fighter jets I would fly, this is on that list. They do also say if you pop out the refueling probe in the air, obviously you can't in-air refuel in the sim, you can roleplay it though, you will gain 25% extra fuel in the tanks just by popping out the refueling probe in the air, which is an interesting quirk, but it's also a thing, so why not, huh? Okay, let's bring our speed down here. I'm going to head over top and perform our 4G brake. Head downwind and make our approach to land. Never landed this before. This is my first time actually touching this aircraft in the sim, so I am just as new to this as you guys are. But I am actually subtly impressed. I've been disappointed by a lot of the fighter jets, but this one is definitely doing something for me. I have no idea if I'm doing a brake properly, so you DCS folks and you military aviation enthusiasts will definitely correct me when I'm obviously wrong. But I'm going to pass over runway, give it some juice. We need to make sure we keep our power up. There's our runway. It says about 4G. Oh, hello. We got some sort of warning. I don't know what that warning's for. Did I over-G? Did I compressor stall? Engine's responding. Nothing on the warning panel. Okay. Alright, let's slow it down to 150, get the gear down. We're a bit high up here actually, and a bit tight into the runway, so I'm going to widen this up a little bit. And descend us down. In fact, let's drop out some spoiler action as well. This is kind of tight. Runway is looking good though, we should be able to make this turn. It's optimistic, I'll give it that. Airspeed stable at 150. It's going to make for a kind of short, stabilized final, but you know what? If I can't do this wrong, it's not going to make doing it right worth it, is it? Power on. We're a little bit to the left of runway centerline. We'll bring it back around. The rattling of the airframe is very nice, actually. I like this. Flap set for landing. This is the most botched approach in an F-16 ever. You DCS guys are going to be hating on me in the comments. I fully accept it. I'm not a fighter person, I'm a bush plane pilot. That's my thing. Give me something with big tires and mud in the backcountry and I'm your girl, but when it comes to fighter jets, I am kind of a novice, so take this as a novice's interpretation of reviewing a fighter jet. Okay, we are down. That was surprisingly smooth, if I do say so myself. Little long, little squiffy, but surprisingly smooth. Huh. I'm kind of heavy with weapon load on the wings, so I will take it. Let's find a taxiway exit and get off here and take a look. What do I think of this aircraft? This is surprisingly nice. I really like it. The hood is a lot brighter than they've had from DC/SC designs in the past, and I'm honestly kind of impressed. Pop the canopy, because you've got to have the canopy open, of course. The appearance is always something they've been good at, that's not in question, and when it comes to the overall handling and behaviour of the aircraft, it feels great. It feels like an F-16. You get a lot of visceral experience. And that's what they said in their documentation, is they want to give you the experience of the F-16. No, it's not a study level aircraft. It's not trying to be DCS, it's not a combat sim. It's trying to give you the experience of the aircraft, and I honestly think it does. I definitely feel like I'm flying a very high performance aircraft here, and something that's incredibly potent. And I do like the fact that we've got the nice mixture of analog and digital. It's an older aircraft, of course, first flying in the early, I think the 80s. So it's not as perhaps modern as it could be, as some newer aircraft are, but I like that about it. We're just going to pull to the side of the taxiway here. We don't need to go all the way back to a parking spot. Cut the engine there, cut the fuel off. There we go. So we turn off the head tracking for a second. What do I think of this aircraft? Well, this has proven to be really fun, and something I noticed as well that they told us we can do is things like your pilot badge, also the squadron badge on the flight suit, the face under the helmet, and you can leave that open, and namespace on the side of the cockpit here, in fact it'll be up there, are all controllable by you. You can go into the textures, you can edit those, they're set as overlays rather than being on the texture, so you can actually put your own name on there, your own face on the pilot, which adds a little bit of extra personalization. Now, I can see in the external model, and the external model is different to the interior, of course. That stretching there is not sexy, it's just drawing the texture over, but not the end of the world. Little bit of pixelation on some of the texture parts here from DXT compression. Not the most complex exterior model, and a little flat looking, although it could be the light that I'm currently parked in. But overall, for what it is, I like this a lot. This is fun. And interior-wise, the angle you're going to see it from most, it looks really good. I like that. The one thing that does irritate me, though, is, of course, and we'll see before we end this if we can do this, but let's drop those off. What are those piggyback tanks? Oh, that's those. Center. Okay. So you can take those off and be just back to normal as you'd want an F-16. So those are the center tanks. Okay. So you can take off the saddle tanks and be a normal F-16. Fantastic. I'm happy. What do I think of this? Compared to other fighters I've flown in the sim so far, I'd put this one in a solid 8 out of 10 AVs. That's my score system, right? AVs? Yes. Okay. 8 angel wings. There we go. That's a better system. I like this. I'd say if you want a good muck around in an F-16, worth a shot, actually. And DC have shown a real good history with updating things, and the speed is up there. I didn't go to full chat because I didn't want to waste too much time, but I was also low altitude, so I wouldn't be surprised if we could get up to 1100 at altitude in this thing. So, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.